Round one is upon us. We're looking past opening round, and the whole competition's here. It's round one, and we've got the traditional blockbuster to kick off Thursday night. I know the teams aren't necessarily as good as they used to be, but Carlton and Richmond kick off round one on a Thursday night, and the Blues are looking to get back from their shocking performance against Sydney. Richmond kick off their year, and it's going to be a really interesting game. Um, it's a hard one to tip for me. I think Richmond are going to be a lot better than what many may predict. Um, their list is still somewhat decent. Like they've got a good couple veterans, but their young players are just such high quality, and I think that they're going to really bring it to the Blues on Thursday. And for Carlton, you know, there's going to be a lot of changes. What does Michael Voss change to his lineup coming into Thursday night? We've seen that they struggled throughout the second half. When the game kind of got heavy, the run and spread really stopped. So for them, do they continue with the two ruckmen? Does Liam Reedy come out of the lineup and they bring in some more legs? Their forward line kind of looked a bit iffy. Harry Mackay really needs to assert his presence as the number one key forward. He looked really hesitant, and they didn't really look like they were connecting very well mid and forward. So once their forward line starts clicking, potentially we'll see a better Carlton side. But I still think it's going to be a close one. My tip for this game, we're going to go with Carlton by 17 points. Could really flip the coin either way, but I think I'll back in Carlton for this one. And then on Friday night, we've got Essendon and Hawthorn. So traditional rivals, both teams hate each other. Zach Merritt, after his failed move to Hawthorn, lines up for the Bombers, and what's probably going to be quite a spiteful game. The Bombers are really going to get up for this one. The Hawks, obviously having played GWS, are going to be looking to get their first win on the board. It's hard to really know where to go with this one because Essendon can really pull a win out of nowhere. But I think the structure and the game plan of the Hawks is what's going to lean me towards them. I'm going to tip the Hawks for this game, but I'm hoping for a good contest. It'll be interesting to see where the Bombers are at this year and see where some of their young players go, like Dyson Sharp. Does he get a debut? Lockie Blackiston in the ruck. So I'm going to go Hawthorn for that one. Saturday, Arvo, we've got Western Bulldogs against the GWS Giants. So once again, somewhat rivals in the newer era. A lot of old games against these guys. Prelim finals. It's always a contest. Marvel Stadium too. So it's really tough on a tip. I think I'd probably side with the Bulldogs being in Marvel, but the Giants are a team that can just they defend the ground well. They can score heavy. It's going to be a very 50-50 game. But you think with the midfield that the Doggies have, Bontempelli, Richards, Liberatore, Fraser, these guys, you think they can get the job done. Coming off a win against Brisbane, they're going to be on a high, and they're going to be really excited to kick off their home game against the Giants. So I'm going to go with the Bulldogs, Luke Beveridge's side, and I'm not too confident on that. So I'm not going to say it's a guarantee, but I'm going to tip the Bulldogs. My mob, the Cats, we play Fremantle in Geelong. Very bad opening round performance against the Gold Coast Suns. I think it was like a 55 or 60 point loss. Shocking. Assuming Jeremy Cameron and Patrick Dangerfield come back into the side, it leans us in a better position. But you never know. Fremantle, Brayshaw, Sarong, Jackson, with the new rules. I mean, we got dominated by Wits against Gold Coast. Jackson's probably going to do the same here. I'm not counting my chickens. I'm just going to say the Cats by about 10 points, but I could really see Fremantle doing a number on us. So, yeah, a very 50-50 game for me. I think it being in Geelong probably helps, but I'll just go with the Cats, only just. We've got the Sydney Swans up against the Brisbane Lions. So Sydney, shaky first half against Carlton. Couldn't really kick a score, and then they kicked 12 goals in the third quarter. So it's going to be interesting to see what type of footy they bring from the get go. Are they going to play more of that second half footy like they did against Carlton, or are they going to be more of like a slow starter? For Brisbane, like I said in the previous video, um, Harris Andrews is probably going to miss 3 weeks. Hugh McCluggage is going to miss maybe one or two. We don't know yet about Gardner and not McCluggage, Zach Bailey's tribunal. So they could be missing a whole host of their stars, the Lions, but they've still got enough to get the job done. So it's going to be a really tough contest, and I think the Swans, being at home, should get the job done. It's still going to be a tough game to win, so no guarantees, but I'm tipping the Swans, and hopefully they can get the job done for my tips. And the last game on Saturday, we've got Collingwood and Adelaide. So this one for me was probably the hardest of the round to tip. Um, I'm a big believer in what Matthew Nicks is trying to build for his side, and there's no bigger challenge for an interstate team than the Pies at the G. Collingwood coming off a good win against St Kilda, have a bit of momentum going. Crows haven't played yet, so it's going to be interesting to see where they're at. I'm tipping the Crows for this one, just because I think that they're a bit better than St Kilda, and I think there was a lot of openings that the Saints created against Collingwood that they didn't capitalise on. So I'm gonna back in the Crows, but I can see Collingwood winning this. It's a very tough opening round to first round to tip, but we're going with the Crows. Sunday we're kicking off with North and Port Adelaide. Very surprised at the odds here. I think Port Adelaide are a lot better than North Melbourne, but I could be wrong. Um, I've got the Power winning this quite comfortably. I just don't think North Melbourne's defense really stacks up. They're all over the place, and it kind of feels like once one part of the ground breaks down, the entire team kind of breaks down, and their defensive structure as a whole team is really troubling. They've got a really good midfield, and I think their forward line's probably the best they've had in a long time. Um, so if they can defend the ground well, I do give North Melbourne a chance. But the seasoned teams will eat them apart. I just don't know how North go. I don't trust them yet, so I'm going with Port. But I would love to see North Melbourne pull off a win. But I'm going to tip Port. Um, St Kilda and Melbourne. So Melbourne get their season started under new coach Stephen King. He's really preached more fast ball movement, trusting your instincts, and really backing in the player to make the right decision. So it's going to be interesting to see how the players react to that. A fast brand of footy, it's kind of the way the game's played nowadays. So for them coming up against St Kilda, they've got a really good defence. Wilkie, uh, Silvani, these guys. Are they going to be able to shut down Melbourne's new look forward line? Brody Myercheck. I'm assuming he's playing. I think he might have got concussion in the preseason game, so I'm not sure if he's playing. I think he will, but don't quote me on that. I'm backing in the Saints. Maybe 15 to 20 points ish. Should be a good game. Max Gorn up against the Koning's going to be a great battle to watch. And overall, I think the Saints should win and get their season off and going. And then last game of the round, Gold Coast West Coast. Geez, Gold Coast are probably going to do a number on them. We could be looking at our first 100-point win for the season. I think Gold Coast are going to win by a big, 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 big margin. They look phenomenal against the Cats. I don't think West Coast have anything to stop them. Harley Reid, Willem Dersma, a bit of a new look midfield for West Coast. Dev Robinson probably gets named to play. They've got a couple of young guys that look really exciting. So It's more about the youth and the development for West Coast, probably more than the results. But yeah, it's going to be an easy tip with Gold Coast, I reckon. So that does us for round one. We started our tipping 3 out of 5. So let's hoping that we can potentially go 6 out of 8 at the minimum. But we've got some risky tips in there, so I could fall flat on my face here and go 3 or 4 out of 8. So or 9, however many games there are, I can't count. But yeah, those are my tips for round one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who's your lock for this round? Who do you think's going to win? Out of any of the games, or who do you think you're looking forward to seeing play? Um, I hope the Cats get the job done against the Dockers. So be nice to me in the comments when my team loses, please. Um, but yeah, that's my tips and predictions for round one. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop us a comment down below.